along with the crops. The seed of a particular weed that matures at the same time as your real plant or your crop. So in the process of harvesting, you might have harvested the seed with your crop and you store it with it. So by the time you now bring your crop for planting the next season, you are bringing back the weed. Then also they have a short life cycle. They grow very fast and their life cycle is so short. So that's another reason why they are difficult to control. So we've talked about weed, the control, common weeds, and why they are difficult to control. Now we'll be moving on to talk about animal physiology. And first, under that topic, we'll be looking at the types and classification of farm animals. Types and classification of farm animals. Farm animals are a group of animals which are reared in the farm, either for food or for commercial purposes. A group of animals that you rear in your farm for food. You want to eat the meat at Christmas, or you want to sell during festive periods. Those are called farm animals. And examples of farm animals, we have poultry, pig, cattle, sheep, goats, rabbits, snail, ducks, turkey, geese, fish, shrimps, bees, and the like. So animals that you can rear for consumption or for commercial purposes are called farm animals. Then classification of farm animals, they are classified into three major groupings. And the first grouping is based on habitat. The second grouping is based on the nature of their digestive tract. Then the third is based on the usefulness. That is what you use the animal for. So three major groups of classification. Classification based on habitat. That is divided into two. We have terrestrial animals with terrestrial habitat, then those with aquatic habitat. Terrestrial habitat meaning land, they live on the land. While aquatic habitat, living those animals, those farm animals that live in water. And examples of terrestrial farm animals are poultry, birds, chicken, turkey, and the rest, cattle, sheep, goats, rabbits, geese, turkey, pig. Those are examples of animals with terrestrial habitats. Then the farm animals with aquatic habitats include fishes, crabs, and shrimps. Then the second classification, that is classification based on the nature of their digestive tracts. And also we classify animals, farm animals, into two: the monogastric and polygastric animals, or what we call the ruminants and the non-ruminants. The monogastric animal, from the name, means one stomach. They have just one stomach, which is the true stomach. That is the rumen. So, and they do not chew their cud. I will explain that as when I get to talk about ruminant animals. So, monogastric animals have one stomach chamber. They called rumen. They do not chew their cud. An example of such animals are poultry birds. For instance, domestic fowl, your turkey, geese, then pig. Those are examples of monogastric animals. Then polygastric animals are animals with 4 stomach compartments: the rumen, reticulum, omasum, and abomasum. The rumen is the true stomach, but when this category of animals, the ruminant animals, when they eat, the food goes into the rumen. From there to the omasum, reticulum, and abomasum. Rumen, reticulum, omasum, and abomasum. So the food moves from one stomach compartment to the other. Then, after a while, maybe at noon or in the evening, the animal goes to rest in a particular place. In that resting position, if you have observed goats, sheep, and even cattle very well, you will discover that when they are resting, they are chewing something in their mouth. And what they are chewing is not what they just ate. They regurgitate food eating. So when they are resting, they bring back those food from their stomach into their mouth. That is called regurgitation. And they begin to eat it. They chew it again. So we call that chewing of the cud. So ruminant animals or polygastric animals chew their cud. Examples of this animal, we have cattle, sheep, goats. They chew their cud. So those are ruminants or polygastric animals. Then we also classify animals based on their uses. Some animals are used for food. For instance, your cattle, kill goat, you eat beef. Your sheep, you eat goats, rabbits, fowls, turkey, snail. Those are animals that you can just take them and eat them. Their meat served as food for man. Then some other ones, they are for hide and skin. You use their skin, the skin of the animal, for leather, for drum, for bags, for belts, and things like that. An example of such animal: cattle, sheep, goats, rabbits. So you can use their skin for hide. Then horn, the horn of the animal, can be used for various artistic work. Generally, you can just find them in a place used for various decoration and the like. So you can use the horn of cattle, sheep, goats, and rabbits. Then milk, can get milk for animals that you use for your cheese, or even you use in your you use animals feed on them, even young ones. We feed our young ones on milk. But when they are old, we don't feed very young ones on milk. We feed adults. Even you take milk, and the milk is from animals. So animals in that category: cattle can get cow milk, then can get milk from sheep, you can also get milk from goats. Then another classification is based on the money they bring in, and almost all animals are in this category. You sell them, you collect money, or you sell their produce, like you sell egg from poultry beds, you get money, or you sell their young ones, you get money. Then another classification is their animal dung. The dung are used as manure. The dung of cattle, you use it as your manure. That of sheep, goats, that of rabbits, and even poultry beds, they are used as manure. Then those that produce eggs, those are birds, generally fowl, turkey, geese. You can sell their eggs and you can eat it. Then feather, you can get feather from birds too. You use their feather for decorative works, for so many things that you want to use it for. So you use, and you can get it from domestic fowl, turkey, you get feather from that, geese, ducks too, you get their feathers and use it. So those are the classification of animals based on their uses. Now we'll be talking about the anatomy and the physiology of farm animals. Anatomy and physiology of farm animals. Anatomy refers to the form and the structure of the body. The form and the structure of the body. Okay, what are the components that are there? The structure, what are they made of? That is the anatomy. Now, the physiology aspect is the function of those forms and parts of the body. Anatomy talks about the form, the structure. Okay, it has so number of this form, this structure, it is located this way, that is anatomy. But for physiology is the function of this part. Okay, it has this part used for this function, that is the physiology. Now, it is important for farmers to understand the anatomy and the physiology of their farm animals in order to help him to know more about the nutrition, the reproduction, and the management of his animals. If you don't understand the anatomy and the physiology of your animals, then you may not be able to maximize them. You may not be able to use them optimally. So that is why it is necessary for you as a farmer to know the anatomy and the physiology of your animals. Now we're talking about the major parts of farm animals, the major parts of the body of farm animals. And first, we talk about the head. The head is the upper part of the body where the brain, the eyes, the hair, the tongue, and the nose are located. Then we have the thoracic cavity, that's the chest region. So when you move away from the head, you get to the thoracic cavity. That's the chest region of the body where you have the heart, the lung, and the trachea. So that's the thoracic region. Then you move on from there to the abdominal cavity. That's just below the thoracic cavity. That's the stomach region where you have the liver, you have the uterus, you have the stomach, you have the oviduct, the kidney, the ovary, spleen, intestine, gallbladder, and the pancreas. Majorly, you have the reproductive system in the abdominal cavity. Then you have the limbs. You know, in farm animals, they are always on 4 legs. So the limbs, the 4 limbs, and the hind limbs. The 4 limbs in man they represent the hands. So when you go on your knee and you put your 2 ends on the floor, you just have the structure of a kind of animal. That's the way you have the animal. So the ones in front, the limbs in front are called the 4 limbs, and the ones behind are called the hind limbs. Now we're talking about the digestive system. Since we are talking about the anatomy and the physiology of our animals, we look at the various systems, how their body function for maximum income and utilization of these animals. So first, we talk about the digestive system. Digestive system include all the organs and tissues that are associated with the breaking down of food in the body of the animal, from the teeth or the beak to the tongue, the alimentary